Hello, everyone, and welcome to Paint Minis Live. I'm your host, Bill T, and tonight we've got a couple of fun projects. Well, one other fun project, apart from doing more Wolfenstein. Um, we've got ourselves a little repair project that I'm going to do real quick. It was on my honey-do list. I just haven't gotten to it yet. So I have to repair the string lights, and I thought it would be kind of fun because I just picked some up for the studio to be a little bit more festive. But I have to repair the string lights on this Mickey Mouse ornament thing that we have at the house here. So I'm just going to glue it together real quick. I thought it was kind of fun and funny and a little bit festive, along with the fact that I just picked up lights. So I think I'm going to hot glue it. Or not hot glue, but use a little bit of super glue here and just kind of take care of that. But yeah, I hope everybody is doing well. I'm gonna make sure the stream is running properly here. I see that the chat window may not have kicked over. I'm just gonna see here. Yeah, it looks like that didn't kick over. So, YouTube, I'm gonna check it out real quick, make sure everything's running smooth on this end before we get totally started. Looks like somebody is able to pick us up. Hey, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. It looks like the chat hasn't cycled on my end for the last stream for whatever reason. But if you're out there, give us a shout out in the chat if you would. Just a little technical issues. Let's see here. Yeah, that's just a little odd. Okay. Well, I'll have the stream going on in the the other monitor there, I guess, and just kind of make sure I'm keeping up with the chat. But yeah, tonight we're going to be painting some Wolfenstein minis. We've got a ton of little like soldier guys from Wolfenstein to paint up here as we continue that project. I'm just gonna get a little glue on this honeydew project and we'll get going. I hope all of you have been having a wonderful week so far. This is the only day I'll be streaming. I'll be taking the firefighters physical fitness test on Friday, so I will be leaving town tomorrow, and that will be that'll be basically the entire streaming schedule right there. So I'm kind of out for the rest of the week. Next week will be a short week as well, mainly because I'll be taking some classes with Kenny Boucher from Next Level Painting. So Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and it just happens to overlap our stream schedule. So that's going to be happening. I'm going to be going through his Foundations of Painting course, which will, I thought it would just be a good idea since I'm kind of shooting for, to get some credentials together, so to speak, and put my name out there as a professional painter. So I thought it would be good to run through his course. He's a huge pillar of the miniature painting community, and he's been doing this stuff for like a really long time. He's made a really like good living out of it. And what's going on, Wheeling Dragon? Good to see you. Good to see you. But he's made a really good living out of doing miniature painting, and I've watched him work. He was one of the first kind of influences in my model painting career. So I thought it would be about time to kind of get with him again and go through and get more credentials as a painter. So I'm really excited about that. And Kenny is a very talented painter at that. Again, I'm just kind of working on this honeydew project here before we start. I told my partner, I'd have this done tonight, and this just so happens to line up right when I stream. Oh, cool! You got some. You're doing a cosplay outfit. All right, all right. I dig it. What's the character you're cosplaying as? Out of curiosity here. I don't have the other camera set up to actually show me doing this, but I'm just putting super glue on this this fun little ornament that we have. That's another thing. I thought about doing ornaments this year. If you would like, or if you would pick up a Paint Minis Live ornament from the web store, and that's something that potentially interests you, even just a little, let me know in the chat here. I think I'm gonna laser cut them out of wood, and they'll be pretty cheap. I don't think I'm gonna charge a ton for that. I just need to essentially cover shipping costs is all I'm worried about. Looks like of my. Okay, gotcha. Cool. You're doing your D&D character. All right. Very cool. Very cool. Well, that's good to know. It's good to know. I'm just wondering if I should make like 10 or if I should make like 30. That's kind of where I'm at with the whole ornament situation on that front. We have 6 live chat lounge cats hanging out with us right now. I'm just fixing up an ornament here. I'll show you what the ornament is. But I was just holding down some super glue. We have this ornament here, and it was on my honeydew list to fix tonight. And so I just wanted to make sure that I actually fix that before I move on to painting, so I don't forget, because I'm doing kind of a later stream than usual tonight. Now that is out of the way, we'll get the PML mini cam going here. What iteration of Wolfenstein? Robert, how you doing? It's good to see you again. Good to see you again, Robert. This is actually from the Wolfenstein, the board game that was sent to us by Weird World War II. And it seems like it's a mishmash between like New Colossus and like the New World. There's a lot of different inspiration in the sculpts because I have not found legitimate character art for some of these. It seems they're very similar though. You know what I mean? It's very, very close to. They take references from all over the place and kind of put them together. It's very cohesive though. Here we go. Share extra camera. We'll get my headphone cord out of the way here. And there we go. So we've got the PML minicam. What's going on, Evolution of Gaming? Good to see you again. Yeah, it's a board game. It's really cool. I'll bring up the minis that we're going to be working on tonight. I'll reposition the camera, and we'll get to painting. I think most of these guys have had their gray pass done. I think there's only one that hasn't had a kind of light gray pass over the top. Might be able to just get away with that and do the hand painting stuff. But these are our minis. I'll give you a close up of kind of one of the generic poses here. There we go. We'll turn the lights on the spray booth too, may as well, so that we can get that extra bit of focus if I can hold my hand still. Yeah, so these are the kind of control Soldaten miniatures from the Wolfenstein board game. I think they're really nice sculpts. I've been enjoying painting them. These guys are kind of an all-black color scheme, which is a little bit challenging. So I've been kind of focusing more on the highlights and whatnot. I'll show a master model here in a moment. How did the dice work for my D&D game last night? They worked wonderfully. I had some really good rolls. I even rolled a crit, which is kind of uncommon for me. That was fun. So thanks again for sending a dice with good luck. This is our master model, so this is kind of what we're trying to get with the rest of the group. It's not crazy, but I think it looks really nice. It needs a couple of finishing touches, maybe some silver on the buckles and clasps. But I think this looks just fine for what it would the rest of the models. Yeah, that's kind of what we're looking to achieve. There. Maybe it was supposed to be a microphones a little further away from the face. I think that right here. Yeah. So there's our master model anyways. That's kind of what we're putting straight on the rest of the Huh. I haven't had that before. Usually... Wonder, did the compressor come off? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think the compressor did come off. How about now? Are you guys able to hear me anymore? Then, oh. Okay. Well, that's odd. And I'm just having a heck of a night with... That is really weird. Okay, you guys can hear me now. I'm just gonna go through and make sure everything is hunky-dory here on my end. Audio input. That should be right. Okay. How about now? I think you guys should be able to hear me all right a bit more with that setting, I think. Always a good time over here at PML when it comes to dealing with technology. It's a love-hate relationship. Trying to film a miniature show and run a stream at the same time is quite the endeavor. Yeah. So how was luck with the dice? The dice was great. I rolled a critical actually during the game, which is kind of uncommon for me. I'm not usually the one to roll high, but I only had one small failure during our session. We were in a graveyard trying to delivering milk to a monastery when we all of a sudden were attacked by the undead, and somebody told us that there was a dragon who was resurrecting the undead, which ended up not being true. It was actually a sorcerer who had brought the dragon and the undead together. The villagers were scared by it, and we ended up subduing the sorcerer, and the dragon, I guess the sorcerer was its daddy. So it was like a little kid. Like, this dragon had the mentality of a little kid. And so we said that daddy went away because we were gonna lock him up in prison because he did a lot of bad stuff. He was tormenting these poor people and needed to be brought to justice. We said daddy was going away, and he was like, "Oh, where are you taking daddy?" And we said, "Oh, we didn't take daddy. Daddy just ran to the store for milk and tobacco." And so eventually the dragon sided with us and was like, "Okay, well, will you help me find daddy?" And we were like, "Yeah, we'll help you find daddy." I have a feeling that we're going to have to be dealing with a long chat with the dragon down the line, but maybe he'll come around to see our ways were of good intentions, especially if you're going to, raise a dragon. So yeah, I only had one failed test. I played the character Tater. Tonka Todd might know Tater, but because I played it in one of his Wildland games. But Tater is a lovable character who's a chef, and he's basically, if Gollum ran out into the woods and got really obsessed with the Food Network, so he made popcorned beetles for everybody in the graveyard and to help boost their stamina. However, they didn't turn out so good, which I was kind of half expecting. All right. So let me see here. I'm going to go ahead and get some tunes going. Let me know if that's too loud or not loud enough. Messing here with some of the audio stuff. There we go. That should be a little bit better. Delivering milk to a monastery is what I'm telling the police from now. Yeah, that would definitely be an alibi for sure that you could get away with. I'm just clearing off some space here, getting ready to go. I know tonight's kind of a short stream, but it is what it is. Let's see here. Can I zoom you out a little bit and turn you so that you're a little bit more level? There we go. Very nice. That ought to do it. Okay. Most of this is just gonna be hand painting these guys. So we're gonna go ahead and get our models over here. I don't think I'm gonna be using the airbrush tonight. It just, to me, doesn't seem like a need to do thing with all of these wonderful soldiers that we've got here. And then we've got our kind of master model that we can check out and go back and forth on. I had a wonderful time with Laz over at Lazy Meaning Painting. He invited me over to talk shop with him for a little bit, and I had a great time with him over there. I had Laz on for a little while one night, a little while back, and he is quite the character. His philosophy is painting as therapy for mental health and just for fun. And he's got quite a wonderful community of people over there. They're very supportive. Definitely an adult style stream with Laz over there. But he's always a good time, and he's painting up a knight on horseback currently. Drink a bunch of beer and make it a long stream. Yeah. After about 4 of them, that stream does get pretty long. I think I've had, I usually have a beer or whatever sometimes if I'm going to be streaming, but I've never had that much beer. I've been streaming. It would make for quite a long stream though. One of these nights, well, sometime in the future, I'd really like to do a charity stream, like a charity drive, a paint-a-thon. And I haven't figured out what kind of structure would work well with that, but I think it would be really fun to do some type of charitable giving with PML, because the world could always use a little more kindness. It's kind of my philosophy. Also, if you haven't, on the channel too, we have there's a poll up about Friday night being kind of an Adult Swim thing. I'm just trying to make sure that the community is down with that style of entertainment, or if it's worth the time to produce something that's a bit more adult oriented, or if I should kind of just stick with the PG-13 theme. So let me know your opinion in that poll, and I would appreciate it. Just because you guys are kind of why I'm here. I wouldn't do the live stream painting if it wasn't for all the fine folks like you that tune in and watch me try and hone my craft as much as I can. I do appreciate it. All right. So I've got a little bit of just white on my palette here. I'm going to start by getting some of this thinned down to a nice consistency. And we'll put some white on our models. The white worked out well for doing some transparent red on these. I guess they're pauldrons. That's what I'm going to call them, because I guess it is kind of hard armor. But this guy in particular here, you can see the red icon on there, and I just used transparent red, so I didn't have to. It just showed up a lot better than painting normal red on there. But yeah, I'm excited about that, about doing the Color Cup Cabaret on Friday nights, if that's something that people are interested in. I'm also fine with just kind of keeping it how it is here at PML2. I'm just kind of looking to see if folks are interested on that front. We're getting closer and closer to the holidays. I am not a person that is about to start up the Christmas music yet, but you know, we've got some twinkly lights here on our big old stand of Monument Hobbies Pro Acryl paints in the back. That's always I added that, and I feel proud of myself. But I think it's kind of festive. Sometime in the future here, I'm gonna probably end up playing some kind of Christmas style something or other on the stream, much closer to the date. Right out the gate, Billy. Already starting with some cleanup work here. I'm happy that these models cured since the last time that I painted them. Every once in a while I make a nice little mistake and I have to try and get the paint out of the area I just tried to put it in. Well, we'll try that side of the pauldron maybe a little later. Okay. How's everybody been doing out there? Anybody been gaming or doing other fun shenanigans? Wheeling Dragon was talking about her cosplay earlier. I thought that was really cool. She's been sharing some pictures with me of her D&D character that she created in Hero Forge, and I'm kind of all about it. I think that's super cool. Light pressure on these icons. This is more like edge highlighting than it's actually painting, but leaves you with a very crisp triangle. We're gonna get the rest of these guys out of here because the camera is very distracted with them. They're going over there. There we go. So yeah, you can see you get really nice, crisp, clean triangles that come out of that when you give it more of an edge highlight than a actual brush stroke. I'm gonna try and do the same thing here. If it wasn't for the fact that this white likes to dry on your brush like no tomorrow. If I had a little bit of retarder, I'd probably put it in here. I just don't really have it handy right now. But paint retarder is actually a pretty decent tool in the toolbox. Doing these small little details like this is just kind of pain. I might have to go back over this with gray. Tonight is not my night, friends. That's okay. We're gonna plow on. We gotta get these guys back in a box and on their way to Brian at Weird World War II sooner rather than later. I know he's kind of chomping at the bit to film this. Okay. Wheeling Dragon says, my game isn't for another week. Right now I'm just happy getting my cosplay together. One step closer to getting the video series going. All right, cool. Are you going to be publishing that somewhere? Are you going to put that on your channel? That's kind of exciting news. Just going to use this color that was already thinned for this one here. This white is always, it does give me trouble. It's one of the only ones that I think people should, you would want to pick this up, but as more or less to like do the hues of your color rather than doing the actual like painting with it. It's hard to describe, but it's pretty thick. And it takes quite a bit of patience to actually get put on there. Does our master model have these specific markings? Yeah, the white. So there we go. We got some nice fine little details on there. I think those are all the parts that kind of needed the white, as far as I know. Our next color we're going to go on to is dark silver. I think I'm going to wait on the white. We're just going to do the easy parts first and then kind of leave the more tiny details and technical work for later. Let future me deal with that problem. Okay, cool. Yeah. I think I'm already subscribed to your channel, so I'm excited to see what comes of that. All right. A couple more minutes here. Well, just a minute or two. Just shaking up this dark silver real quick. All right. Just gonna give my palette here a quick turn. Ooh, man, that's always fun. For some reason, when the temperature changes, these bottles like to just kind of do their own thing, and they will shoot out a bunch of paint. So I have a bit more than I bargained for here with this color, but that's all right. Yeah, next week I'm excited to go and do some painting with Kenny Boucher from Next Level Painting. It's kind of something that I've wanted to do for a while, is take one of his courses. I'm thinking that, I'm hoping that I'm already kind of proficient with some of these techniques and things that I've kind of just been picking up along the way. But I think this will be a good point in my painting career, so to speak, to kind of give myself an assessment from somebody who's been in this field making a living from it for quite a while. Kenny is a super accomplished painter, and I'm quite excited to go and, you know, kind of work with him. I had a one-on-one session about 8 months ago with him, where we kind of just talked shop a little bit about, you know, what was going on here at PML, because, you know, at that point in time, I was like, you know, I kind of want to build viewership and, you know, all that other online junk. You know, I'm not trying to become some type of sensation or, you know, a big streaming personality. When it comes to these things, I would like the outreach to be there, because I think that hobby and painting and kind of anything to do with those sectors of our hobby it's an important part of it. I think having this painting show is just one more piece of exposure that our hobby has to reach new blood. And I think that some people could really use some hobby in their life, and a group of people who are, you know, open-armed and accepting, and are, you know, they can come right in and, you know, join the group and experience all that our hobby has to offer. So for me, it's more of an outreach thing than it is a, you know, I want to become internet famous or something like that, because I really, you know, that doesn't bother me. But teaching skills and having, you know, a good group to be with, so to speak. There's a lot of people out there that could use that in their lives, in one form or another. So that's kind of my aim with that. And we talked about that, and he was like, you know, you like, if you've been kind of growing at the rate that you have, you know, you might want to try a different platform. So I thought about doing that, and what I kind of came to was that I'm not super tech oriented, so I was struggling trying to figure out how to use, you know, Instagram to kind of pull other folks into the sphere that PML has, and I was just struggling with it. And after I had gotten done with the web shop part of this, I just kind of decided that it would be better to come back to streaming here on YouTube, at least for now, and worry about those things later. Half the projects that, you know, come across my painting desk are usually for other people around YouTube, so why not just stick around here for a little while longer? So you picked up your video series, put it away for a year, and last summer you picked it back up. Got it. Well, hey, I'm excited to see it, though. I think it'll be interesting to see what you come up with. Do. Well, thanks for being here, everybody. I do appreciate it. It's always fun to have a little bit of company when you're painting away in the studio. Just trying to make sure this guy's gun is covered. There's so many odd angles here. There we go. That's kind of giving me what I was looking for. Can't really see the butt of his rifle behind him. That's A-okay. Doing the silvers on these guys is kind of nice because they're larger areas of the model, and I can just kind of I can get through them quicker. So if I remember my color recipe right for these guys, did dark silver over the faceplates, and then came back over with some bright silver to give them highlights. When it came to just like the metallic parts. Yeah, they are like, when I looked at their reference images, they are just all black. The all black color scheme for these guys. And sometimes all black works in your favor, other times it doesn't. This is kind of one of them. There's not a ton of color that can be put on here. And so I've got to work with what I got. So I can make the silver pop, I can make their iconography kind of stand out a bit more, and then I can add highlights of various shades of, monochromatic kind of gray to white, to make them stand out a little bit and look a bit more flashy on the tabletop. Like on a Conan, and that's difficult for me. Yeah, I hear that. Flesh tones. I was experimenting a bit with that at Clericon on a frost giant that the minister gave me, since all of my models were confiscated at the border. Can you tell I'm just a little salty about that? Just a hair, just a little bit. But I gotta keep it Minnesota nice, Yeah, so it was a kind of a frost giant or some kind of hill giant maybe style model that I was painting up, and I was kind of working in flesh tones, and it's difficult because to make it look like actual skin, you've kind of got to go through a couple of different layers and progressively work your way up to the final highlights. The same thing goes with faces. I mean, I see some of these painters out here who can do 28 mil faces, and they look photorealistic, but the brush sizes they're using and the techniques that they're doing, I mean, it's like tiniest little brush strokes, and they're using giant magnifiers too, which I don't have a huge magnifier. I think I've got one with a decent optic on it, or whatever. I'm not sure how they measure magnifiers in powers. I don't think it's a huge power, magnifier, but I do have them. I know a lot of painters like to use those electronics. Did I do that on this guy too? I did. Okay. I know they like to use like electronics glasses, I believe they're called, but yeah, they use those special like soldering glasses for very small electronic stuff. I've thought about picking those up, but I'm a bit insecure. I don't know. I don't know. I think I'd rather have something that would clamp onto my desk than something I'd wear on my head. I know I'm already, steeped in the nerddom and the nerd culture, but there's something about it that I have a hard time getting over when wearing those magnifier glasses. It's just a personal thing, I guess. As sooty holes for eyes, yeah. Doing eyes, what I've realized so far, and this is again one of those reasons why I'm going to be catching up with Kenny next week, is to kind of learn some of those tips and tricks that he's used to become a really skilled painter at things like that. For me, eyes are basically just white eggs that get stuck in there. I do try and use a little bit of color variation on them, so a bit of a darker color and a lighter color over the top, but doing an actual iris at 28 mil is pretty difficult. I've not really been successful with doing legitimate irises at a 28 mil scale. And I'd like to learn how. I just, you gotta kind of learn these techniques. And some of the folks out there they'll show you how to do it. They'll explain you how to do it. But when you have questions, they'll answer them in the comments. But sometimes the only way you can really learn something like that is sitting down with somebody who's done it, a couple thousand times plus, and has that, those painting hours in. Because at the end of the day, any skill that you do, I think they say 1,000 hours and you're, proficient at it. 10,000, you're on your way to mastery or something like that. So, and just here on YouTube, I'm not sure how many hours I have behind the paint desk on YouTube here, but I mean, I've had a decent amount of hours, but sometimes picking up those techniques, you can only really learn them from another person who's already done it. An optical loop? Okay. Yeah, maybe. Well, I will have to look up exactly what that is. Another thing too is working at different scales help. But you get a project like this where the scale's already set for you. When you buy a game, it's not like you can change the scale. There's some war games out there. If you're, into the tabletop wargaming scene, there's some war games out there that are, 35 mil. Trench Crusade, I think, is 35 mil. That's one that I've kind of been interested in. It's really cool, kind of World War I with nuns is what I've understood it to be so far. And that's at 35 mil, and it looks absolutely flippin' beautiful. And I would give a lot to be able to paint at 35 mil scale, just because of the fact that it's so much easier. Doing intricate detail at 28 mil can be taxing, to say the least, on your eyes. And then you're worried too, like, you've got to get smaller brushes and have the correct paint consistency for any model anyways, but at 28 mil and less, it gets crazy. I don't know how some of the historical war gamers do those like grain of rice 6 mil guys, 6 or 9 mil historical models. It blows my mind. I wouldn't have the patience to do some kind of Napoleonic paddle of, the 20-30 soldiers. Like, that's nuts to me. I can barely handle 28 mil. Sometimes larger units aren't better either. Doing a dragon, I think, you have to show a lot of detail on a large model like that. Just because it's a huge centerpiece, it draws your eye. Inexpensive magnifiers at Harbor Freight? Well, I know where I will be checking out magnifiers next. I've had a couple of things from Harbor Freight. They're alright. They're pretty good. Definitely, if you need a tool and you need it on a budget, Harbor Freight is definitely the place to go, though. Just to get whatever you need done. I like going there for that. So speaking of D&D, I saw that Dungeon Delver like a little while ago, he was covering some stuff about Elon Musk trying to, contemplating about buying out Hasbro. I was like, holy man, I don't know. That could be a double-edged sword right there. It could be great. Maybe there's going to be some freedoms and liberties they didn't have from the original, from Hasbro that would get put out there. On the other hand, could go the way of what is now X, where we have to, you got to pay for a little checkmark thing. I'm not sure how I, really feel about that. But there's either way, there's plenty of other games out there that I can go and enjoy. Namely, Tonka Todd's Wildlands. Whenever he gets that published, I'm going to shout for joy because I think that system's really great. It's kind of a old school centric game that he's been developing over years and iterating on. But it plays really well. It plays really easy. It's super pick up and play, and it's got a lot of character to it that I think makes it quite unique and also very familiar too. So there's plenty of systems out there to keep me busy if it goes south. Elon would change it to X and X right away. I can't imagine how the filters on Google search would go absolutely bonkers trying to make sure everybody that's looking for D&D or whatever, they would call it, searching the web and not stumbling upon certain materials. I'm gonna go and grab me some transparent brown because that worked out really well for doing up. Ooh, let me just throw it across the room. Good Lord, Billy. All right. But this worked really well on the straps. I didn't have a brown that I felt like was doing it for me when it came to actual the paints itself, and this transparent brown has been doing the trick on these straps, just kind of keeping a very dark color but still very noticeably brown. If you take a look at our parent model here, the camera's interested in the rest of these guys. Here, give this guy some time to shine, please. Oh, no, it still is like, oh, they're over there. No, come here. Let's just cover those guys up. This guy, I want you to focus on this guy, please. There we go. Yeah, if you see there the nice kind of brown gloves and straps, it's brown, but it's super dark. And that's kind of what I'm going for with the use of this transparent color. Make sure you guys are kind of out of the way there. It likes to pick up on anything and everything. It just wants to show you everything around my painting desk. Pretty much shied away from D&D over the last couple of years. I can understand that. If we can kind of get some focus here, man. There we go. Now it's picking up on all the little models. It's like, I want to show them everything. No, please. Just show them this thing. Yeah, it's been interesting seeing how that stuff is cycled. I can't imagine D&D being something totally digitized though. That just doesn't, I don't know. There's a reason why it's around a tabletop, and it's not for the fact that it's like, well, it's part of the charm for sure, but also to me, D&D is more about a reason to get people together in the same room and do something constructive that doesn't, require a ton of effort. It's super accessible to anybody. And it's cheap. You can play D&D for the low price of like a book or two, or just in your mind, like, create some rules, like just use this as a framework. But and I think that's super appealing to a lot of folks. And I think it's it is, to me, an important it's an important part of the gamer culture, I guess. When it comes to role playing, I think it's kind of an important little aspect of it. It's kind of a gateway drug for a lot of folks, and you start monkeying about with that, it's not going to be, it's not great. People enjoy it, all over the place. From, I was 16 years old and in high school the first time I picked up a D&D book. Like, you hear that stuff all over the place. There's people in prison who play D&D. They're like really serious about it. To the point where they have some very serious games of D&D in prison. But they're not allowed the books, which is kind of funny. A lot of this stuff's super homebrew, but the ideas they come up with are astounding for like plot hooks and such. Just decided to start going to town on some of the strapping for these guys. They're like webbing and pouches and stuff. When you have, yeah, preteen, you have no money anyways. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, I think there's definitely other systems out there too that I'm like, again, should it go south, I'm not worried. There's plenty of stuff to play. One of the systems that I've been prospecting for a little while on playing was actually one that was recommended by Daniel from Bandit's Keep, who's an affiliate with PML. He was talking about a game system called The Hateful Place, which is kind of a post-apocalyptic RPG setting, but it is super unforgiving and like gritty and psychological horror to the max. And once I heard that, I was kind of hooked. Like, really, I would like to know more. So I don't know. I might have to, I've got a backlog of people that I need to get on the show and do some like interviews, paint and interview sessions with. So I might have to add Daniel to that, and maybe he can talk a bit more about The Hateful Place, because he did a playthrough of it during the Halloween season, and I was just absolutely enthralled. I saw like some of the first episode, and I'm excited to go watch the second episode because I think it's going to be really cool. Let's check the chat here after I'm done with this glove. Alright, we'll just do that now. Yeah, they put numbers on a pencil and rolled it as a D6. Yeah, a lot of them are D6 based systems, just specifically for that purpose, because they have access to like golfer's pencils and stuff. Yeah, that's a really good point there, Robert. I need to put some tape down on my desk so that I don't keep dragging the mini out of shot. Going through on his gloves here. Not so worried about perfectionism at this point. Just kind of getting some of the base colors on these minis is going to help my life out tremendously. Man, it's like this camera is just struggling to focus at. It's either I have to be really tight or not tight at all. There we go. I'm really excited about another thing. I keep saying I'm really excited about almost everything, but it's all exciting to me. I heard that AC/DC is coming to US Bank Stadium here in Minnesota, and I'm about to go rob a bank because I need some tickets really bad. Oh man. I don't know how many people know this about me, but I'm a huge fanboy for AC/DC. They were one of the first. They were actually the first CD that I have never stolen a thing in my life, except for my dad's copy of AC/DC's Back in Black. I 5-finger discounted that thing off of him, played it until it died, and never replaced it. In his collection, I just bought another one for myself and kept playing that album. But they're coming. They're coming to Minnesota, and yeah, I need to get a. I don't know. We'll figure it out. A payday loan or whatever to get some tickets, and I really hope they don't get scalped immediately. Because I've been hearing horror stories about that with other concerts and such. And, I just once before they die, I want to see them live. I've listened to countless hours of their stuff. It's basically what I listen to when I'm not live on stream painting here. I haven't done office hours on the PML Discord lately, but that's basically what I'm rocking out to is various AC/DC albums when I'm just sitting alone painting. Thunderstruck is your theme song? Heck yeah. I'll have to, I don't know, I've thought about doing covers of AC/DC songs for PML music. But the only thing is you have to prove it to YouTube if you actually make it yourself, and it's somebody else's music, because it's essentially an artistic interpretation, and I don't think those guys would mind. They'd be like, heck yeah, man, rock on. But since they're owned by Sony, you have to prove that you are actually the one playing the guitar, because if you make it sound too close to the actual band, you're going to get picked up by the censors here on YouTube, and they're going to copyright strike you, even though you're the one that, essentially is playing their music. Which I believe is allowed under most copyright law. If you're, planning on, doing something commercial, you can make a version yourself. It's not going to be the legitimate band playing, but, you can make your own, play it on your piano or something and have it be A-okay to use commercially online. But I don't know, I'd have to go do a little research on it. But at one point I did have a pretty decent I did have a pretty decent emulation of Angus Young's guitar sound going in my audio engineering console that I've got upstairs. Same thing with Malcolm's guitar too, although his is really tough since he took a Gretsch guitar and plucked plucked an entire what do they call it? A entire humbucker out of it. So that one I have kind of done, but not quite. Angus is really tough because he uses a Schaefer Vega. His guitar sound is actually clean, and his amps are not. The amp sound isn't actually like it's turned up quite a ways, but that distortion you hear is from the Schaefer Vega unit, which was one of the first wireless guitar transmitter, I believe. Yeah, transmitter. And that sound comes from that, and replicating that is really difficult. It's got quite the unique sound when you blast that thing all the way up. That's essentially what they're doing. How is AC/DC still together? Well, that's a good question. I think they're still together because they're all just little kids at heart, it seems like, and they don't really put a ton of they make sure that business is business, and then playing in the band is for fun. They kind of stick to that motto, is what it seems like to me. That's what I've kind of heard from them through interviews and stuff I've watched over the years. I know that Malcolm Young passed away just recently, which kind of stinks. Well, it really stinks for one, but it's like they buried him with his guitar. It was pretty cool. If there's a way to go out, that's one rockin' way to go out. But the Power Up tour is essentially a memorial to Malcolm Young, Angus Young's brother. So as you can see, we've got some stuff taking shape here on our minis. I need a little bit more of this brown, but we're getting there slowly but surely. I think I'm gonna do up this last guy and call it a night. We'll chat for a little bit if anyone's interested in sticking around. For that, we'll chat for maybe a little bit, and then I'll head out of here. Tomorrow is going to be fun. I've got a 2.5 hour drive to get to the emergency response college and start doing I'll be up in the area I need to be to actually go and attend the test at the college on Friday, but otherwise I'll be working before that, and I'm not so enthused about doing a 2.5 hour drive after working and whatnot, especially if I don't sleep well. That would kind of stink. I think this guy turned out really well. I think all of them are kind of turning out really well. I hope Brian at Weird World War II really enjoys these guys when they're all painted up. I hope him and let's say Ashley. Yeah. It's been a little while since I watched this stuff, but I know he games with her, and then I think her mom. I'm not 100% sure, but I hope they all enjoy it though. The game mechanics for this board game look really cool though. Not gonna lie. I kind of want to pick up a copy for myself, but I don't think I could go through painting it all again. I do have a copy of Halo Flashpoint here though. Oh, still having trouble with the camera. A little bit of an off night here for PML. That's all right. But yeah, I think the kind of leather work turned out nice. This guy. Well, with that being said, I will leave this for another night. We got through some good stuff so far. We got a little bit of iconography on one of them. Did the leather work on 2. I've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more units in this squad, but their color scheme is pretty simple. It's nothing crazy. Bring your air compressor if the person needs air instead of mouth to mouth. Instead of a what do they call it? A CPR dental dam. Just bring an airbrush. I think that'd be pretty funny. Yeah, so overall we've got a lot of progress done on this. I think some of the key models that I was a bit worried about have turned out really well. The officers are going to be pretty easy when it comes to the paint up process. We've got some cyborg looking dudes in here too. Let's see if I can pull out one of these guys. I didn't even get to this point in the game because I did buy the game. Like, I think it was New Colossus that I bought, yeah. I think I bought New Colossus, but these I didn't see these guys in the game. But these like cyborg men, kind of this robotic dudes. These guys are kind of trippy and wild. I'm not sure the tactic I'm going to use on these guys quite yet, but those guys are going to be a bit of a challenge, I'm sure. The officers should be pretty straightforward. I'm not really going for a totally historically accurate paint job on those guys. We're just going to have it be, whatever it is, it is. I think we're just going to kind of follow some of the other color schemes I've seen around that era, so to speak. And then we have, these are actually going to be the tougher models. These like character models that the players will be playing as, because I want these to essentially be the centerpiece characters. The sculpts are really cool. I think we've got, is it Billy? Yeah, BJ Blazkowicz. That's the main character. But this dude, his sculpt, talk about the Doomslayer kind of guy from Doom. He's got a really cool sculpt on a empty helmet. So that's pretty cool. I think doing up some of these character models, though, I'm gonna go all out and go ham dinner on them. But we've got approximately like about a quarter to a half of it done. Somewhere in there, there's some little like mechanical flyers and stuff. I'm just gonna do those up kind of with some easy tricks that I know. I think they're more or less kind of the cannon fodder of the game, so I expect them to not be on the table too long. So I'm gonna kind of paint them as such. But yeah. Well, thanks for chatting with me, everyone. Thanks for being here, and I hope you enjoyed the little bit of painting that we did tonight. I usually do a bit of a longer stream, but again, I want to make sure that I'm getting some good sleep. I also wanted a little bit of time for myself because I've been working out a lot, training for this physical test, and I just wanted the extra hour to myself for the night, so we started a bit late too. So, but thanks again for being here. For PML, I'm your host, Bill T. We'll talk to you again very soon. I think the next time we'll be streaming here is going to be Monday the 9th and Tuesday the 10th of December. So have a great time till then. Hobby on, game on, and we'll talk to you then. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.